Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody who has been listening to us tonight as we progress throughout the live show here tonight. We appreciate our sister Joelle Alert who joined us in the last segment, talked about the school institution mix Mahanaim in Haiti. So definitely want to continue that challenge to the listeners of Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J to make the pledge. So go to www.eventbrite.com, search Union, New Jersey, and then put in Mahanaim, MAHANAIM. If you're able to attend the event in Union, New Jersey on April 10th, then by all means purchase a ticket to do so. If you're unable to attend the event, then make a donation, sponsor a child. I mentioned to Joelle as well as her sister that I would make not only a donation this year, but for as long as I am able, I'll sponsor a child. That's my personal pledge, and I will definitely make sure that I own up to that, and I encourage the other members of Legacy Internet Radio, as well as all of our listeners, if you're able, then do what your heart and your pocketbook allows you to do. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. If you can be part of the discussion, if you choose to, give us a call at 804-402-2893. As at this time of the show, I didn't get an opportunity to do this part because I went straight into the interview with Joelle in the last segment. So I'll go ahead and get the in-studio crew introduced into the show. You hear the sister join us every month on the first Monday. I don't know why I'm stammering and everything right now, but please forgive me. You hear our sister on the first Monday of every single month. My sister Tony's up in this joint. What's up, Tony?
Am I making you nervous? Because it's actually the second Monday of every month. You said the first Monday.
I did?
Yes, you did.
I'm tripping.
It's okay. You miss me.
Is that what it is? Oh,
yeah.
My God. You know what it is? It's like the wobble. Like I was wobbling just now during the break.
Gosh.
And they were making fun of me and saying that I didn't have a lot of rhythm and everything. And I think it was like the shaking up of my body.
You're always wobbling.
Is that what it is?
Yes, you're always wobbling.
I'm like not sure if that's a compliment or you just took a shot at me.
It's not.
It's a shot. Okay.
It's not, but you're still cool.
My sister, every second Monday of the month, I'm being corrected. But it's all good. What's up, girl?
Not too much, man. I'm happy that spring is almost upon us.
Yeah, man. I miss my Timbs and Scullies.
You're what?
I like it better when it's cold, man.
You're insane. Well, you're from
New
Jersey.
Yeah, when I'm cold-blooded. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not for the cold. I'm not for the extreme heat. But spring is like a time of rejuvenation. And my birthday is in a few days.
Yes.
So, Yeah,
your birthday's in a few days. I know which one this one is.
Yeah, it's a milestone for me, and I'm excited about it.
Yes, absolutely.
50.
Boy.
You know where you need to move to? Either Tampa. What's up, sis? You either need to move to Tampa or San Diego is where you need to go. One of those two. Because that's where you can get your 72-degree weather every day.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Tampa has I think their average is 75, 76.
Yeah, every day. Every day. So you heard this brother just now pick on our sister Tony. He's helping me pick on her. She's the only lady here for now. So you're going to get a double dose of pick on this.
pick on this
and whatnot. But, the utility player, the brother that makes sure that everybody gets what they need. He takes care of everybody in the den, Mr. 3375. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, brother?
Chilling, man. How you?
I'm doing good, man. Monday.
Yeah.
Start of another week.
Yeah.
That's how I like to start my week.
Yeah.
Right here.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad to hear it, man. Because today is Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday. Tuesday is like the worst day of the week.
Why?
Because you got a day under your belt and you still got all week to go, man. Yeah, man. It's like Tuesdays.
No, to me, it's like I made it past Monday.
Really?
Past that, y'all get like that Sunday afternoon depression because the weekend's over.
Season.
Well, football season is over, so
not during baseball season.
Oh gosh. Well, I get it. Okay, year round, and Tuesday is a good day.
It's like a you problem.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday, exactly.
And you know, I have Steppin, Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Let's get into some current events, man. It's hard, you know. I don't really want to do this, but you know, I think we would be irresponsible if we didn't talk about Donald Trump. We would be irresponsible because the truth of the matter is, he's dominating the news for a lot of reasons. You know, you got a lot of people that's comparing him to Hitler, and you got a lot of people that's saying that he's divisive, and we're going to get into all of that. But the way I want to kind of launch this particular discussion is to talk about what happened last week at the Trump rally. This was a rally that happened in Fayetteville, North Carolina. John McGraw is a 78-year-old Donald Trump supporter. He has been charged with punching protester Rakeem Jones in the face as he was being escorted out of the Trump rally. McGraw said, quote, "The next time we see him, we might have to kill him." Donald Trump is considering paying the legal fees for John McGraw, who, as I mentioned, sucker punched Rakeem Jones in the face during that raucous rally down there in Fayetteville. Trump has been accused of inciting such violence because he's encouraged crowds at previous rallies to take out protesters and even offered to pay for legal bills for handling problem guests and lamented the, quote, old days where you could punch a disruptor in the face and he'd be, quote, carried out on a stretcher. I'm getting this one from the New York Post, which is, of course, printed and distributed in Donald Trump's hometown of New York City. So, Tony, we got a lot that we're going to get into on this discussion, but why don't you lead us off?
I mean, I can't, and I don't take Donald Trump seriously, and it's sad that so many people are wasting their time and energy on him. Our presidential campaign, our presidency is a serious matter, and I really wish people would treat it as such. As far as people like fighting at these rallies and stuff, I mean, why go? You know what's going to happen. Again, it's just a waste of time. Do something more productive with yourself. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
What you think, Jay? Donald Trump has pledged to pay some of these legal fees for some of these folks who are assaulting protesters at a Trump rally. Now, before you say anything, many of us saw the video of Rakeem being escorted out.
Right.
And we saw the video of John McGraw literally sucker punching him. Excuse me there. I'm looking at the video here and the audio is on. Let me turn that off. But what do you think about this?
When I watched the video, I seen this guy hit the black dude, and the black dude was the one the police went after. Like, it was a one-hitter quitter. Black dude went down. But he was the one the police jumped on. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. And it didn't even look like they dragged the white guy out or even took him out. So that's the world that we, you know, if Trump become president, that's the potential world we might be living in going back at 1960.
Yeah.
Might have to fight our way back out.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that video, Jay, and I'll be honest with you. You know, I guess in some ways I'm like Trump because I'm going to say what people want to say, but they ain't going to say.
Right.
If you 78 years old and you take a swing at me, you get to be 38 years old.
Yeah, you're going down.
You get to be 28 years old, like for real.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this John McGraw guy was basically being a punk because he knew that he can get away with it,
right,
because the guy was already being detained and escorted it out. Like, you know, I'd like to see him take a swing at someone like that on neutral territory. Right. And that's the thing that really, you know, it annoys me. It's like, I'm going to kind of go on a tangent just to kind of make this point. It kind of reminds me, as Big Rube would say, text message gangsters. When you see all of this nastiness that goes on in social media, where people can sit behind their keyboard under assumed names and type anything they want because they realize nothing is going to happen. John McGraw, to me, is kind of like that. I mean, respectfully, you a 78-year-old man. Like, I would not kick your ass because I know I could kick your ass.
Right.
And so for you to know that I could probably take you down and to take a swing at me is probably the biggest punk move that you can do.
And that black dude wasn't a little dude.
He wasn't a little dude.
Well, and I think too that might be why the officers jumped on him, because you could see like he was about to like turn around. Somebody grabbed his arm like immediately after the guy hit him. So they probably knew like the wrath was coming. So get him out of here. And so I think that's probably the best thing that they could have done, because it's not worth him, catching an assault charge or worse.
But you know what, though, Tony? I agree with you totally. But the whole thing about him, because I've heard that before. The whole thing about him maybe catching an assault charge, to me, it's like this dude just got punched in the face.
Yeah,
true.
He just got punched in the face. Like, I think everybody tripped off of that video when we saw it. It was like the dude. It was almost like Rakeem was celebrating being put out, because he was pumping his fist, and you don't have the audio, so you don't know what he was saying, but he was pumping his fist, and he was like, looked to be excited. And I'm sure that is what incited John McGraw to take that swing. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, man, you're going to take a swing at a dude that's already in restraints, like, for real, and
leaving the building. Like, he was just leaving the building. Like, he just got up under his skin, and he, like you said, Marcus, he knew he could get away with it.
Yeah, that was safe for him.
Yeah.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We getting a hit from our brother K-Dub. He's listening to us.
Hi, K-Dub.
In ATL. He said if this is what they want, then let them get what they want. And he said it a little bit more colorfully than that. Yeah. But here's my other deal with it, right? This is the dude who wants to build a wall. And this is the dude who wants to keep Muslims out. And this is the dude who's going to keep us safe from ISIS. But when he heard a dude about to come up on that stage, he heard them footsteps. Yeah. Did you see the look on his face?
Yeah.
Somebody help me.
He was scared to death.
He was scared to death. There's no way that anybody can interpret the look on his face as anything other than fear. And then the part about that video, that piece of the video that really, really tripped me out was how it's like when you start a fight and then you get beat up, and then the dude that beat you up just kind of walks off. But you walking away, you keep looking back.
Right. Is it over?
you notice?
I never got beat up, but I've seen people do that.
I done had my ass whooped. I've whooped some ass. I've been on both sides of that. I've been the looker backer, and I've been the one that was looked back at. I've been on both sides of that. Yeah. So I thought that part was hilarious. But Mr. 3375, let's keep it 100. Like, this the dude who's going to keep us safe. Like, you talking real tough.
He's not. He's not going to keep us safe. He's a hothead. He's hiding behind, like you say, what was it, the gangster Texan? That's basically what he is. He's hiding because he know ain't nobody going to get to him. So he's going to say what he want to say, do what he want to do. And you see how quick them people came on stage to save him.
They rushed him.
Yeah.
They rushed him.
Yeah.
K-Dub is continuing, and I want you guys to comment on this one. K-Dub said, and I forgot this part. Dub, thank you for reminding me of this. But Dub was like the old dude thought that the brother was a terrorist, which I'm going to come back to that in a minute. I'm going to come back to that. Dub, that's a very good point. Thank you for reminding me of that. Hakeem is listening in Jersey. Hakeem's shouting you out, Dub. He said 502, baby, all day, every day. That's our little thing, or their little thing. And he's saying what's up to us here in the Den.
What's going on, brother?
But back to K-Dub's point about the whole terrorist thing. It trips me out where every single person is a terrorist, except for when white folk do shit.
Yeah.
When white folk do shit, they might have issues. They might need to get, psychiatric evaluations, all that kind of stuff. If you white and you listening, you and your feelings about me saying that, call me and let's talk about it. 804-402-2893. But I do think that we need to discuss the fact that every single community that feels some sort of oppression, whether that be the black community, the Latino community, the Muslim community, the gay community, it's always white folk in the middle of that stuff. And I think that we would be irresponsible if we did point that out.
Well, and they think they own this country, and anything that's against white people is terrorist. That's how they think.
Yeah.
Everything against them. Proven time. Anything you say against any white person, they're a terrorist.
Now, Tony, what would you say to a white person that's listening right now that thinks that we're speaking racist? First of all, you can't be racist because we ain't got no damn money, so we ain't racist. But I mean, like look it up, the real definition. But to use that phrase, what would you say to them right now if they're listening to us and they in their feelings about how we're talking right now?
As far as how we feel about being called terrorists and white people are not, I think oftentimes when white people hear other races speaking about themselves, either in terms of empowerment or oppression, they see it as racism or terrorism, but they have to realize that we're talking about us. It's about us. It's not about them. But they always take it that way because they live in fear of us.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. I watched a documentary yesterday called The Newburgh Sting, about 4 men, and they called them Muslims, but they weren't even really all Muslims, who were basically entrapped by the FBI. The FBI sent this informant in, and basically,
the FBI sent an informant in?
and he basically recruited these guys to hatch this plan. Okay. To basically hatch this plan they were going to bomb a
we see you call a hold tight.
Jewish temple and also blow up some airplanes,
Right.
some government airplanes.
Right.
And it was total entrapment. I mean, he meets this one guy, and the informant is like, "Oh, we need to kill these people." And the informant was like, I think Pakistan or something like that,
Right.
Pakistani. But the worst, just blatant case of entrapment, and they were all sentenced to 25 years.
Now, how crazy is that, and how surprising is that? Ain't no have Steppin with Marcus J. live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio, brother. We see you on the live line. What's your name? Where you calling from? Which I know, but let the listeners know.
This is your man, K-Dub, calling from ATL, Georgia.
What's up,
What's
man?
going on, everybody?
We chilling,
What's going
man.
on, Hot? What's good, baby? 502. Hey, listen, I wanted to actually clarify my statement earlier and understand where I'm coming from. This is just me, and I know that a number of people kind of sort of feels the same way, but because of the fact that the backdrop of what's going on, this is how I feel. A lot of times from the police, from a number of our Caucasian brothers and sisters, whenever you hear about them, inciting violence against black people, more so the police, what's the main consistent thing that's been said? They feared for their life. I was scared. I shot the person because I feared for my life. I did XYZ because I feared for my life. It's going to be wrong to say this, but people will understand, if this is what they want, when we go to different things and, people get, a chick was getting pushed around. Another chick was getting cursed at. One dude got spat on over the weekend. We all were talking about the dude getting, escorted out, and the old dude sucker punched him. If that's what you want, at what point are we going to give them what they want?
Why don't you be a little bit more specific? Because I know you, I can guess where you're going, but for the listeners that says, what the hell are you talking about? Tell them what you mean.
I got you.
Bust their ass. Start busting their ass. You know what? If Donald Trump was scared of a tomato, then you know what? Then let's start throwing tomatoes out. I mean, if this is the stuff that they want, that they're inciting these particular, pockets of violence against. If you notice, you don't see white on white. You see black people getting pushed around. You see black people getting spat on. You see black people getting grabbed up and hauled up out of the spot. I saw a video yesterday where it was a group of black people sitting in the audience, and this white guy stood up. Mind you, they're sitting behind where Donald Trump is. White guy stood up and pointed at 2 black females. The security came and basically forcefully escorted them out, only because the white dude didn't feel like they were, they should have been in support for what Donald Trump said. So he stood up, made a big commotion, and got these 2 ladies escorted up out of there, right? The black lady behind them videotaped the whole thing. And you could repeatedly hear her say, they didn't even do anything. Why are y'all roughing them up? Why are y'all pulling them out of there? Well, if this is the shit, this is what they want, let's start giving them what they want. Every time just to back up, I saw another dude, a black dude, I want to say was in Chicago, which we all see, they wasn't having it. White dude was sitting in front of his face, and he backed up, and you could look at his lips, and he said, yo, don't get in my face. The dude stepped up again, and he gave him 5 to the face. That's what I'm talking about. If this is what they want, give them what they want.
What would you say?
I know it's irrational.
It can be a little bit, but I get what you're saying.
You understand where I'm going.
Well, let me ask you this. What would you say to the person that says, if you don't support Trump, don't show up? Or if you don't support Bernie Sanders, don't come to his rallies. If you don't Hillary Clinton, don't go to hers. Marco Rubio, John Kasich,
because
Rafael Cruz.
You can't have it the way you want to have it. You know what I'm saying? You can't scream freedom of speech and freedom to do a number of different things, but then you say, well, if you're not a supporter, you can't come. That's that. I mean, it's come on, man. It's a play on words. Just like you got Donald Trump talking about they were denied their First Amendment right. No, you were not denied your First Amendment right. You took the opportunity to not have that particular event there. No one denied you from having that particular right. You know what I'm saying?
When you say that event there, which event are you referring to? Which event are you referring to? Chicago?
Any of them. Pick them. Okay. Pick them, because that's what he was. I was referring to Chicago because that's what he was saying. He was saying that the protesters denied him his right of freedom of speech.
Here's the reason why I wanted to clarify that, though, because I think you know this, knowing you the way I know you. The police came out today and said they didn't stop the rally. That was the Trump people. Even though the Trump people said that the police said it was unsafe, the police said that we held it down. We could have done it. Y'all the ones that said, so there's a lie.
Are you surprised? I bet you if we go from place to place to place, we can pull up a particular lie. I've listened to a number of his speeches, and be honest with you, I can't even stomach them. But that's an example of, he says one thing, and I guess all of these people, and even more so. And I was looking at something else. Donald Trump made the comment about being denied their First Amendment right. A guy responded back and said, no, so on and so forth. No, that isn't correct. Another lady tried to play him and was like, who are you, an attorney? Dude put his congressional attorney card on there and basically said, I am.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the ignorance behind, and a lot of the ignorance is manifesting from the hate that started back in 2008.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad. Let me get you to address something. I'm glad you brought that up because, this is one of those times that I wish that we had, a conservative voice, or, not just conservative, but to be quite frank, a white voice, because I feel oftentimes that our discussions end up being kind of one-sided, and I would like to be able to have a discussion and debate folks that vehemently disagree instead of disagree on certain small subtleties. But here's what I want to ask you, Dub. You have a lot of folks who find President Barack Hussein Obama divisive. What is your thoughts when folks say that in today's climate in 2016? Never mind 2008. I know I'll let you make your point on that in a minute. But we talking about today. You still got some folks who call him divisive today.
Well, those particular this is my I guess disappointment with the media. For all of the, I would challenge anyone that if you have someone that says that the president is divisive in his whatever, for that person that said that he is divisive, ask them to give you an example. That's the easiest way that you could do it. If they can't give you an example, or they try to give you a talking point from what they hear on TV, then you already know exactly where they are. They're just regurgitating what they heard, and it sounds kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? So now if you take necessarily Barack Obama, right, and put the umbrella, oh, he's divisive, he's this, that, and the third, what would you say about the current three dudes that's, well, I won't say three, the two dudes, Donald Trump, and if I'm not mistaken, maybe about a week and a half ago, Rubio were going back and forth if they was in a crack session in the locker room.
Right.
if you take that and juxtapose it with Barack Obama, who do you think is real divisive? I mean, these dudes is out there just telling them, hey, I don't like him. They don't need to come here. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Yo, come on. And like I said, anyone that says that Barack is divisive with whatever, I would ask you to challenge them and say, okay, how? Give me an example.
No, I got you. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J.
And real quick, yo. Do y'all know that Ted Cruz, that's not his real name, right?
Yeah, I've been saying that for weeks.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, how real you don't even see, that's the BS right there. That is the BS right there. Because you know what? Even though you changed your name, that to me, that lets me know, one, you're not proud of your heritage. You're not proud of who you really are.
Why wouldn't he? Hey, Dub. Why wouldn't he be proud of being from Canada? You know what I mean? Hold tight.
He changed his name. He married a Caucasian lady. You know, Cruz is the only thing that I would say that's Hispanic about him. You know, and you know, let's not even go into the whole religious aspect of it. He's a nutcase, just like all the man. You and I have talked about this. We could go on days and days and days, but I'll just leave it. I'll leave it with this. Other than voting, we got to figure out some type of other way to combat the ignorance that's going on out here on both on I'm talking about black and white. It's not, and to be honest with you, it's not even a color thing. It's really an economical thing. We have to find a way to combat the ignorance and just find a way to come together. And even though, I mean, every 4 years you hear the same thing, but I mean, now it's just like, yo, this dude might get in the house, man. He might get in the White House, and all hell might break loose.
What you gonna do, man? What you say to the people that say they moving to Canada? What you say to them?
Man, get the freak out of here! You're not moving to Canada. First of all, you probably never been to Canada. All right, that's
you ain't
one.
got a passport.
Two, you gonna get over there and realize, oh snap, they ain't even got my reality TV shows. So get that out of here. And there's another thing, and I think I made you laugh with this. Half of the people that's talking about, oh, I'm going to Canada, you ain't even got a damn passport, so you could miss me with that. You don't even travel. I'm going out the country. Where you going? I'm going to Jamaica. Come on, man. Go chill out. Go to Asia. Go to Europe. Go to Africa. Do something like that. Talking about I'm traveling.
You in rare form tonight, brother.
Because, man, you know what it is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I, as well as a number of other people that I know, they don't have the outlet because you know what? I surround myself with, some like-minded people at work. There are people that are on different sides of the aisle, but we all know when you're in the corporate world, especially for a black man, I can't have this same conversation that I'm having with you at work.
So true.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I either, kind of make my statement and leave it at that, or I don't say anything at all. Because no matter what you say, I can't have the same conversation with a Caucasian person that they could have between each other.
You know why? Because we wear the mask that grins and lies, my brother. We all do it.
Hey.
It's unfortunate. I think the older I get, the less I'm willing to scream my voice, especially when I know a lot of them listen to the show. And so I would personally, and it's just me, I can't speak for you or anybody else, though, but I would personally be disingenuous if I come in here and I talk the way I talk on this show, and then I go to work and I be on some yassa balls. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No. Let's not get that twisted.
I got you. I got you.
That ain't
but listen, hold up, I got you. But I went to that extreme to make the point of what you see needs to be what you get. You know what I mean? Like, don't be flipping it, and changing up your voice and all that kind of stuff. Because to me, that's kind of worse. You know what I mean? So you may curb or find yourself steering yourself out of certain conversations. But if them conversations happen, then they gotta happen. Like I had a lady at my job maybe 10 years ago, and I'll share this story before I let you go, Doug. I had a lady at my job who said, you know what, I can't stand Al Sharpton. And I could tell that she was trying to get a rise out of me at the time. And, my opinion of Al Sharpton is different now than it was at the time. At the time, I was a pretty firm, supporter of him. I mean, I understand who he is and what he does now, and we could talk about him at a different time. But at the time, I was all about defending him, and I kind of went in on her, and ever since then, she leaves it at baseball conversations and things of that sort. Like, we don't talk about heavy stuff no more, because the reality is that 10 years ago I wasn't about no games. Like, you can't don't play with me like that. Like,
I think that woman was me.
Nah, it wasn't you, but I think you know who it was.
Because we had that conversation.
We
had a conversation.
Well, we had that conversation, but you and I worked together at the time. So
I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. So, Dub, one more time, where you at, man? Who your peoples, man? Give us some salutations, man.
Down in Georgia, man, enjoying this warm weather. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to all my peoples in Jersey. Shout out to all my peoples in VA, Star Squares, the Star Squares, the gods in the earth, and look, Mark, just speaking brought her up. You know what I'm saying? She walked in. Shout out to everybody in VA. Shout out to the whole crew in the room. And I'll just leave it at this real quick, man, for real. I know I had brought up in regards to work and stuff like that. Trust me, it doesn't go like that. That's why I don't even engage in those types of conversations. Keeping in mind, you guys are in the South, but I'm in the South.
Yeah. We'll mess around and be looking for you. So you got. Hey, look, subdue your passion, brother. Subdue your passion. Yeah,
so sir. Hey, everybody that can hear my voice, peace and love to y'all. Stay safe. It's getting warm out here. Hey, enjoy yourself and reach out to your elders, man. Reach out to your elders. Peace to the gods.
All right, brother. Be cool, man. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right now.
Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Shout out to my sister Melanie in the Shy. She's listening to us. She's been supporting us for as long as we've been on Legacy Internet Radio. So my sister Melanie.
Hi, Melanie.
What's up, girl? My sister, the True Fighter. We appreciate you supporting us, girl. I mean, he said a whole lot. I'm not sure if there's really any more. Well, obviously there's more that we can say about that guy. But what really kind of bugs me, though? It's like, he said a long time ago that he hasn't spent any money on advertising or anything else. And we know that recently he had gotten an ad pulled. I can't remember what state it was. We had an ad pulled because they had a bold-faced lie in it. But he ain't got to spend no money on ads, because every time you turn on your favorite news outlet, whether it be Fox, which we know is conservative friendly, or MSNBC, which is liberal friendly, or CNN, which is confused as hell because you never know where they stand. I call them the Clown News Network, but they always want to lead with Donald Trump or Drumpf. Which one? Should we call him Drumpf? His real name? Yeah. Should we do Drumpf? Yeah. We should call him that.
And not only the news, like social media. I mean, you log on to any social media, there he is. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, that's another form of commercial.
Let's go back because I gave Dub an opportunity to respond to this question, Tony and Jay. I want you guys to kind of address the question that I asked about being divisive. And Melanie, you're listening in Chicago. I'd love to get your opinion on this one. So either call us at 804-402-2893 if you're able, or where you're at in social media, just comment here so I can get this comment in, because you're in Chicago. I want to really know what it must be like for folks who are paying attention to what's going on at not only these rallies, but just the tone of the country now, ever since he has started to gain more and more and more support amongst certain, people in our country. We're talking about taking our country back. We're talking about President Barack Hussein Obama, who's actually from Chicago, which is annoying me when you see these memes saying that the president sent his peoples to do that. Like, you minimize the office when you do that, by the way. So stop doing that. Like, stop it. But, I mean, we talked about how, or as a country, we talked about how this president is divisive. But at no point are we talking about how Donald Trump talking about he's going to pay the legal fees for people who are beating up protesters at his rallies. There's no divisiveness there. I mean,
it's crazy, man. Like it's almost like a double standard. How can you possibly think Obama sent his boys out in Chicago? Even if he have boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, that's crazy. But that's the world we live in. I mean, no matter what, Obama really hasn't really been saying too much, but they're still throwing his name in it.
Yeah.
And that's been his whole presidency.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have seen him say more. I mean, he's had his comments. You know, he
Yeah.
got a couple of quick hits here and there. Where
Yeah, but that's
he'll
what he's
say
been
something-
doing all
yeah,
the 8 years.
He'll say something slick.
Yeah.
Here and there. But Tony, here's the thing that really irks me. Like, you see these memes of, and I'm gonna potentially piss off some folks here with this statement. You see these memes with Martin Luther King with gold teeth and necklaces around January promoting parties, and you see these memes of Barack Obama, with Joe Biden saying, don't get him, Joe, and all of this kind of stuff. Like, we all like memes. I love memes. I put out memes all the time. But isn't there a line that we might not want to cross, especially when we're dealing with oppression, disrespect, cultural conditioning, and, to be quite frank, pure and systematic racism? Like, don't we want to show a little bit more class and decorum? What do you think?
Absolutely. And I mean, I think that Donald Trump has really made a mockery of the American people because he has so many people who are actually like supporting him right now. But I think that as the year progresses, people will come to their senses and realize that it's not a game. Like, if you elect this man, we have at least 4 years of his foolishness. So, as far as I honestly don't think he's going to be elected. He's not going to be elected because it's impossible. He is a joke. It's like me going to the White House and saying, I want to be the president. On what basis? Just because I want to. Why does he want to be the president? Like, our relationships with other countries would be non-existent. We'd probably go to war with everybody because he's intolerable. He's racist. He's egotistical. He's arrogant. And I mean, we would probably be like the main target, of course we are already, of real terrorist attacks because of him and his mouth. He's unreal. And like I said, he's made a mockery of the presidential campaign. And I really do honestly believe that there are going to be enough of us here in this country that have sense enough to not elect him.
I think Donald Trump is a reality check for black people. People that's not white, because at the end of the day, this is how the United States and the world see us, pretty much. It's there racism out there, and if you believe anything different, you're crazy. And Donald Trump, the reason people like him because he's no holds bar. He's going to say what he want to say, and that's what people like about him. But he's not good for the country. And like you said, all the trades and stuff, he's going to kill it. And if by chance he becomes president, we done as a country, period.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this because, I mean, when you look at the fact that he has had so many bankruptcies, and, and that's just the business side. You have some people who really honestly think that he would be good for business, domestic business here in this country. And I just, I scoff at folks sometimes that say things like President Barack Hussein Obama is the worst president that we've ever had. It's like, it's hard for me to have a rational discussion with him. I'm not a Obama surrogate. Like, right. I'm not that dude that's going to be running around talking about how dope he is. Like, I'm not that dude, but I'm also not blind to the fact that gas was $5.
Yeah.
I'm also not blind to the fact that, most of the cats that I know, lost their houses. And I'm not talking about what I think. I'm talking about what I know because I live in a neighborhood when I bought my house, I'm going to keep it 100 and I'm going to share a little bit more than I normally share. I bought my house in 2002. And I remember when I bought my house in 2002, we got a loan that was a fixed loan. Right. And the reason why we got a loan that was a fixed loan is because we were smart enough to know that it's possible that just like this rate could go down, it could go up as well. Well, in 2002, I still got that same rate now in 2016, whereas a lot of the people who moved into the neighborhood that I moved into in 2002 said, yo, this rate is so low and it might go down, and they got the fix, which is the reason why the house that's right next to me is on its 4th different owner. Right now in 2016 versus 2002 and 14 years, third different owner. You know, across the street they're on their second different owner. Another house across the street they're on their third different owner. Another one, third different owner. You know, and that was during the last administration. When we basically had, quite frankly, a depression. And so I trip sometimes off of the partisan bullshit where they're talking about how this is the worst president ever. It's like there's some things that he did that was not very great. You know, I know I'm not happy with the National Defense Authorization Act because nobody I know thinks he's going to use it, but it's going to get used. Like one day somebody's going to get disappeared, and it's going to be because of the government. You know what I mean? It ain't going to be because of nothing else. They might come get me one day. I might say the wrong thing on this radio show.
But most of the people that says that he's the worst president don't even have a legit reason why. Because I asked them why, and they haven't gave me a real reason.
Is a very good point.
Like why? Why is he the worst president? They can't give you a reason.
No.
And how did he get reelected?
Yeah.
If he was so terrible.
Yeah.
Well, George Bush got reelected.
Yeah, but for me, just Obama, and actually, I was actually surprised that President Obama was elected, because I just thought that, you know, everybody's like giving him the support, but at the end of the day, they're not going to elect him just because he's not black, he's mixed. So when he was elected, I was surprised.
Elected or reelected?
Elected.
The first time.
The first time.
Yeah, I was skeptical the second time. I didn't think he was going to get reelected.
Well, now see, the second time I was like, Mitt Romney, like really.
Once they went in on Mitt Romney, I was like, he's gonna win it. But at first, I was like, nah, he's not gonna win it.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, I get really frustrated when we don't want to acknowledge the positive things that has come out of this presidency while highlighting some of the things that are not positive. You know, you get a lot of black folk in the conscious community. He ain't did enough for black folk, and he's terrible. He's an agent, and you know, he's just going along with the system that's laid forth. Like, look, I got you on that. I consider myself conscious as well. You know, I border on conspiracy theory as well. But at the same time, I have to pay attention to the fact that gas is $1.75. It's gone up 25 cents in the last 2 weeks. It was down to 150. You know, here in the Richmond, Virginia area, and the housing market, and the bailout for the automobile, you know, system has made it a lot better. And every single month we add more jobs, and the job unemployment rate is in fact going down. It hasn't gone down quite much for us as black folk, but it has gone down some over the last administration. And then you look at the stability that we've gotten in the Middle East. You know, ISIS is wilding, but the truth of the matter is he gets a lot of the negative credit for ISIS, but it was the last administration that set the tone for ISIS to even be created. You know, Osama bin Laden is gone now. You know, we ain't at war like we were. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to be a surrogate for the dude. But what I'm saying is, this is the dude that they say is the worst president ever, and he's divisive.
I know for me, Obama, my boy. The loan forgiveness, he was my boy. As a student, that loan forgiveness was right on time for your boy. You know what I'm saying? So,
and people have to remember, I mean, we live in a democracy. You know, we have a judicial system. We have checks and balances. This is not a tyranny. It's not one person saying this is how it goes. So there are going to be issues. Nobody is perfect. And, you know, I fully believe that he did what he could do while he was in office.
What they allow him to do. Because
so,
they try to block a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, you only have so much power. So, you know, every president, you know, you're going to find a good amount of people like, oh, it's the worst president ever, it's the worst president ever. But, you know, I can honestly say that he helped a lot, and we've made some progress in certain areas, like you just pointed out.
I think the electorate has to take some responsibility as well, because quite frankly, in the midterms, you felt that we overcome and didn't go and vote. You know, and there's certain people who have issues with voting and the whole voting process, and you know, on certain levels I am as well. But I also know that, you know, I think it's something like 80% or more of the people in Congress and the Senate are up for re-election
Yeah.
in November. So if you got a problem, then solve the problem.
Yeah.
Solve the problem. If you don't like who's in there, if you don't like the system, then consistently go to the polls and vote for who you think. Now, for those folks who think that voting is a waste of time and the system is fixed, I got you. I absolutely got you, because I think we all are old enough to remember what happened in 2000.
Yeah.
The Electoral College was crazy, even though the people wanted Al Gore. The Supreme Court selected George Bush. And so we know about that. But at the end of the day, this is the system that we have. And, to decide that you're not going to participate in the system because you think it's fixed is not helping. It's just not helping.
Right.
And I personally would rather, look at the lesser of evils, as they say, and cast a vote for that person as opposed to the person that I know is a freaking demon.
Yeah, it's going to tear this company.
Because I know that I'm going to sleep better if I make an attempt to vote for someone who I think, even though I don't necessarily like a whole lot of stuff about, the person who I'm leaning towards, he certainly ain't the demon that the guy on the other side is. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking when I think about this. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, because I don't want to talk about Donald Trump no more, he stinks. When we come back, we're going to go into the Sham Pipple room, which is the room with lava lamps and purple bearskin rugs and gators and big-ass butterfly collars and couches as back seats of Cadillacs from the 70s. That's the Sham Pipple room with Mr. 3375. You want to give a little tease? Just a little tease. Don't give him too much. Just give him a little tease, man. Just after you gag, like he's in here gagging. Like, somebody get that man some water.
Little tease.
Yeah, you utility player. Get yourself some water. Whatnot. As he's well, you ain't got to read to him. What's the general gist of what we doing?
Just got some relationship questions. Some people sent me.
Okay. Some relationship segments that he's been sent by some of his listeners, some of his fans, some of the people that